welcome to this special local edition of Curiosity Quest Goes Green, the show that explores what you, the viewer, are curious about. Now, if you've watched our show, you know, you guys have sent us all over the country exploring topics regarding the environment. Well, on today's show, we're staying right here in SoCal, and it starts with our letter. It came to us from Pomona. Fern wrote, "Dear Joel, I'm curious. If people keep wasting Earth's natural resources like fresh water, would it be a serious situation? And if so, what can we do to prevent it from happening?" Well, Fern, what a great question. Because of you, we're going to explore how our water is collected locally, how it's distributed, and more importantly, what we can do to help conserve it. So let's begin today's Curiosity Quest Goes Green.
We treat water imported from the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta, which is located between Sacramento and Stockton, about 400 miles north of us. That's like a 7-hour drive from here. The Delta is made up of 1,000 miles of winding waterways that are fed from two main rivers, the Sacramento River and the San Joaquin River. These rivers get the majority of their water through snowmelt in the Sierra Mountains. That's why a good year for skiing is usually a good year for water supplies too. The water travels down the Sacramento Aqueduct, which is kind of like a highway for water. Its first stop is Lake Silverwood near Wrightwood, then through the Rialto Pipe, which is located at the base of the foothills. The water then travels along the pipe to cities where it is treated, and then it goes to your home through a system of pipes underground.
Here's your fun fact.
Every day in the United States of America, we drink about 110 million gallons of water. That's a lot of water.
We're down from Silverwood Lake, standing on top of San Antonio Dam with the San Antonio watershed behind me, and I'm here with Allison. So tell us, I understand there are 3 places where we get our water. What are these 3 places?
Well, in Southern California, we get our water from 3 different places. There's imported water, there's groundwater, and then there's surface water as well. You were talking about imported water, which comes down from the Delta through a series of pipelines into reservoirs, and then is distributed throughout homes and businesses in the city and in pretty much everywhere. However, there's a different source of water, and what you're looking at is the San Antonio watershed, which is part of the San Antonio Creek system. So what happens is, in the winter, we get a lot of rain, and it becomes snow, of course, and that water is stored up there basically for later summer months.
Now, when you say stored, are we referring to ice or snow, or where is it stored?
Sometimes there's a phenomenal amount of snow, and in fact, if you were to come here during the winter, you would see Mount Baldy, which is a great ski region. There would be so much snow, 5–10 feet of it, and that stores it for us so that the next summer, when we need the water, we've got it. As spring comes, it melts, and it comes down through all these little creeks and gullies into the San Antonio Creek, and it's stopped here at the dam.
This seems like a very large dam, especially if I'm looking out this way. It's a pretty good sized dam, right?
Well, it is a good dam. I mean, it's a big dam. It's not like Hoover Dam, but for this area, it's a really large dam. It's an important dam. And what happens is the water collects behind here, and then it's released through channels. And then what you have in front of us here is a spreading grounds.
Now, this water is being collected to service several different communities out here behind us, right?
Absolutely. We all pull from the basins that you would see in front of us. Now, when I say basins, I'm talking about underground swimming pool basins where you're actually collecting and storing water. And sometimes you can store that water for years and years.
You're talking underground pools, basically.
Underground pools. And the way you need to think of it is it's layers of dirt and sand, which, believe it or not, that's where the water is safest. It's clean, it's safe from human contact, it's safe from dead animals, it's safe from anything that might contaminate it. And so we put wells in wherever we can get the best water from.
And a well is basically, that's your pull the water back out of the ground, right?
It's an underground straw.
Ooh, I like that.
It's an underground straw. And from there, it's going to be sent to a treatment plant. And at the treatment plant, they're going to treat it or pull the dirt out of it. They're going to chlorinate it. They're going to make sure it's safe for consumption. And then it's going to go out to the cities and communities through a system of distribution pipes. And that's how it actually ends up getting to your home.
What is a watershed?
A place where you keep water.
When there's water inside of a container.
It's where you would store your water.
A watershed is a container that holds water.
A shed with water in it.
Most of the water goes, and you can store it there. Shed filled with water? A bathroom.
Allison, what's a watershed?
Good question. Okay, the best way to think of a watershed is that it's small and builds bigger.
Okay.
So if you're looking at the watershed behind us, okay, the San Antonio Creek watershed would be a series of small rivers and little creeks that would all feed into a larger watershed.
What I've seen on maps and pictures, it kind of looks like this, right?
Correct.
So you have water coming from this way, coming from this way, coming from this way, coming from this way, and then it all ends up feeding.
It all filters, but it's easier to think of it this way.
Oh, I'm going
Because it
like
goes
yeah.
this way, this way, this way. It all filters into one spot. Now, think of that watershed as part of a bigger watershed. Because there's always watersheds inside. You could even say that this right here, that you're seeing right here, is a super tiny watershed. Because what feeds from there and feeds from there is all going to collect here. But remembering that it is part of a bigger San Antonio Creek watershed, which would encompass all of these hills.
It's important because this watershed that's collecting is ultimately going to be one of our 3 sources of drinking water.
Exactly, it's going to be, and it's going to be the major source along the foothills. This watershed, all of these watersheds collectively combined, are our drinking water. Most of us get about half of our drinking water from the local watershed.
Whoa, that's huge.
It's huge.
So the imported water, like we have up at Lake Silverwood, is only a portion.
Right.
It's a smaller portion.
It's a small portion if you're in this area.
Okay.
If you're in another county, it might be much more important.
Obviously, the watershed's going to collect it.
Exactly.
And then percolate it.
Down into the big swimming pool, which we call a basin or an aquifer.
The reason an aquifer is there is to
store water.
Store
it's
water.
It's basically a form of a water bank. It's like putting your water away for later use in the summer when you're going to need it. Hopefully, you never take all the money out of your bank. Okay, you conserve that water, you keep it in the ground in case you have several years of drought. Because again, we might have years where we'll go 10 years without enough rain. If you've done it right, you'll have enough water in your water bank or your basin to last you a long time.
Would we be in trouble if we didn't conserve? And would we be in trouble
Absolutely.
if we lose our natural resource known as water?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's overused, but it is our most valuable resource. There's so many of us living here now that we just don't have enough water if we foolishly use it. If we're careful, there's enough.
What can you do to conserve water?
Drink less water, buy more soda.
Don't use the bathroom too much. When I'm washing my hands, you can save water by not keeping the water on.
Don't leave the water on when you're brushing your teeth. Let me start off. I have 3 boys. They can go to the bathroom outside. They can wear more of their clothes, not as much laundry.
Not wash dishes anymore.
Are there other ways that we can help conserve water when we're talking about the watersheds?
Yes, reduce the amount of runoff that goes out into the street and into the storm drains by planting more California-friendly plants and not paving over everything. That way the water will stay in the aquifer. Even in the neighborhoods, it's important for that to happen because the water travels all through the aquifer.
Now, I think it's hard for some of us to grasp, including me, that, okay, if I'm watering my lawn out front, whatever water that doesn't go down the drains, the storm drains, is going to end up just soaking right back up into the land and going into the aquifer.
That's right.
In this watershed, Lee, how large of an area are we talking about that it serves?
This watershed is approximately 3,000 square miles. It's part of 4 counties, Los Angeles County, Orange County, San Bernardino County, and Riverside County. And it goes from the San Jacinto, San Gabriel, and San Bernardino Mountains all the way down to the Orange County coastline.
Basically, if you're standing